Are you ready?
Welcome into the DML Network. It's your boy Expert, and it's time for the Super Bowl. We got the 49'ers going up against the Dolphins, the game that counts for everything at the end of the season. And I got a special guest host on the show to call the Super Bowl with me. It's the three-time Super Bowl champion himself, Mr. Addy 5 from those New Orleans Saints. What's up, Addy?
Expert, what's going on, man?
Man, good to have you here. We got a big matchup. We got brother versus brother, Sweetz99 and those 49'ers going up against Tightwork and those Dolphins. Should be an interesting game. And for the pregame today, we had to get a special guest to come on, Addy. This is a guy that knows these two very, very well. These are two co-hosts from Numbers Don't Lie here on the DML Network. So we had to bring the host of Numbers Don't Lie because he knows these guys from before Madden even began. It's the OG, the Bus, the owner of the Chicago Bears. What's up, Bus?
What's going on, fellas? Glad to be here, man.
All right, man. It's brother versus brother. It's your two co-hosts going at it here, Bus. Did you have to play this right down the line when you talked to the fellas before the Super Bowl?
Hey, man, I'm really glad these two cats got here, man. I'm really surprised, to be honest with you, man. But it's like big brother versus little brother, man. So we're gonna see who takes the crown, man, and is able to put up a banner in the DML this season.
Yeah, we'll talk about some guys that are going to play huge roles in this game, and so we're gonna start at probably the most important position, and that's the QB position. And Addy, you know how important this position is. You've had several different guys win you Super Bowls there in New Orleans, and we're gonna look here at Reeves versus Garoppolo. And if you had to pick one of these two guys, who would you say has the edge at the QB position here?
If I had to guess, I would say in this game, the edge goes to Garoppolo. You know, when you're a vet and you've been in the league time and time again, you've seen different situations, whereas Reeves being a rookie, his first going around, nerves may play a factor. So I would lean Garoppolo.
All right, Bus. Addy says Garoppolo's got the edge, and Tightwork relies on that run game. He's going to count on that defense to put him in positions. But what is it about this QB Reeves that has put the Dolphins in this situation to take a Lombardi back to Miami?
Man, Reeves comes in as a rookie. He's out of Georgia, so he knows what the competition is like. He's been in a few big games as far as like the SEC championship, so he knows what it's like to be under the spotlight. But this is a different animal, man. We're not talking about Pop Warner or flag football. This is the DML. It's the Super Bowl. So Reeves is going to really have to step up and become that guy that the Dolphins drafted him for. As my man Eddie says, he's going up against a vet in Garoppolo. So right now, Garoppolo has the edge over the rook. So I think Garoppolo is looking to, teach Reeves a few lessons and show him who's the main quarterback in this DML league.
Yeah, and Addy, if we're looking at these stats here, and Reeves has a better QB rating, but both of these guys have struggled turning the ball over versus putting the ball in the end zone in their own players' hands. How big a factor in a Super Bowl as a guy that's just won, back to back to back? How important is that to win that turnover battle as a QB, not only for the scoreboard, but for your mindset as the quarterback? How important is that to keep the ball in your hands versus giving it to the other team?
Well, it's huge. When we look at Super Bowls historically, I think that the turnover battle usually decides the game. You know what I mean? Whether you can give your team a couple more possessions or whether you give them away. So I think that, especially in the game here where both these teams and these owners know each other very well, in games like this, the turnover battle usually is the differentiating factor as to who wins and who loses.
Yeah, and Bus, both of these quarterbacks really rely on their running games. If you look at the 49ers, Naheem Hines, he had over 1,000 yards, top 10 running back in the NFL, had 14 touchdowns. If you look on the other side, you had Kenyon Drake, who had 891 rushing yards. He had 8 touchdowns, but then he also had Ballage, kind of backs up, had almost 500 yards, had 5 touchdowns. They had the third best rushing attack in Miami. How important is it for these two quarterbacks to find a way to get these running games going, kind of settle them down, especially for the young guy Reeves in Miami?
Yeah, I think the run game is going to be really important here. The Niners are going to rely on Najee Hines to really, get outside and utilize his speed. But the Dolphins will be without Kenyon Drake in the Super Bowl. He's injured right now, so Kalen Ballage is the guy that's going to have to step up. Now, if he goes down, the Dolphins will be in trouble because behind him you have, a 2-year guy, and behind him you have a guy who probably shouldn't even be dressing out for the Dolphins. But we'll see how this turns out with the running game. But I think the running game is going to be important for both, but especially more so for Reeves.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge. And then both of these guys, they don't really have that go-to guy at wide receiver. They spread the ball around quite a bit. Now Garoppolo, he tends to try and find Pettit a little bit more than the rest of his group. But the Dolphins he doesn't have that standout wide receiver that he's just going to plug every single time he drops back to throw. Is spreading the ball around a big piece for this Dolphins team versus the 49ers, Addy? Or do you think, when you get to the big game, you just got to find a guy that's got the best matchup and go after him?
I think it's, having the weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl. You look at matchups that may go in your favor. And like you said, I think if you look at tight work throughout the season, when he does actually pass the ball, he tries to keep it balanced, and that makes it tough not being able to key in on a specific receiver. However, I think that, he'll hold true to form, and if it's not broke, why fix it? And I think we'll see a lot of the run game today. If you look at his attempts per game in terms of rushing, Reeves is second on the team behind Kenyon Drake. So I think we'll get a lot of running from both the quarterback. We'll get a few option plays from Reeves, and he'll basically do what he's accustomed to doing and what got him here.
Yeah. All right, that is the quarterback comparison. There's another side that we got to talk about. We'll go on the defensive side, and we're going to talk about some big uglies over there on the defensive side. And it's the defensive linemen in this game. And we got 2 studs that we're going to be able to look at. You got Lucas here for the Dolphins. Then, of course, you got Solomon Thomas on the other side. Who has the edge here, Bus, when it comes to the best defensive lineman?
Man, you know what? I got to go with the Dolphins, man, because you got my man Anton Lucas, who's pretty much the staple of that defensive line. He's going to be able to push the pocket and possibly, get a sack or 2 in this game. And on the other side of him, you have my man Cedric Sharp, who's going to be terrorizing the left tackle to get to the quarterback. So if I have to pick which team has the better D-line, it's hands down the Dolphins.
Yeah, overall, I think you're right. I think the Dolphins, overall their front 4 is better. You talked about Cedric Sharp, huge 57 tackles this year. Still a young guy here in the DML. The Dolphins are 11th in QB sacks in the DML with 53, but they're dead last in INTs with only 20. This is not a team that creates turnovers in their secondary, but they do stop the run very, very well. Now, you look at the other side, Addy and Solomon Thomas, and you see his stats there. He's got 52 total tackles. He's got 15 sacks. This is a guy you have got to notice where he lines up, whether he lines up on the right or he lines up on the left. You got to find him quickly. Do you feel like the Dolphins need to keep an extra guy in the block, maybe chip him with the tight end, or maybe spy him with the running back to try and help Reeves get that extra little time in the pocket?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a very elite pass rusher who has produced year after year and continues to do so. James and Tunsil, I think they're in trouble if you leave them blocking him one-on-one on the outside, you're definitely going to have to leave a back end. You're going to have to mix in runs and draw plays. You're going to have to get the ball out of your hands quick, because if you hold on to it too long, that's usually when Thomas gets in the backfield and he makes a game-changing play.
Yeah, and both of these guys know how to get after the quarterback. But when it comes to stopping the run, does one team have that advantage over the other? The Dolphins pride themselves on defense. But Sweets over the past couple seasons here in the DML has really improved the defensive side of the football, and really understood that defense can win championships. He wants to put up 50 points a game, but he understands that he can't get in that shootout and it be a 50-45 game because one mistake and he loses. And so, Bus, do you feel like Sweets is finally starting to make those steps to be that defensive guy? I mean, we know tight work is already there, and he's already won championships on the back of that defense. But do we feel the 49ers are getting close to that?
Yeah, I think the 49ers are there, and I think they, gear their defense based on who they're playing. And he knows, tight working those Dolphins love to run the ball. So they're going to be focused on stopping Ballard, stopping the zone reads, the options. However, just like the Dolphins are missing a key component on offense, the Niners are missing Reuben Foster, who would not be at this game. He's dressing out. He'll be there to support his fellow teammates, but he will not be participating in this game. That could be a huge blow for the Niners.
Wow. Yeah, that's big. All right, guys, one more piece of the puzzle. We got to go with the X factors. And we talked a little bit about Ballage already there for the Dolphins. But Addy 5, talk to us about the tight end for the 49ers. You got George Kittle over there. How big is the tight end in your offense as being that go-to guy, that kind of security blanket, that we've seen Jason Witten and, Graham and Gronkowski and all those big-time tight ends? And how big is that importance for a tight end to be able to just get open and get that 5, 6, 7-yard pass and just get those dirty yards for you?
Oh, I think it's huge. Just like you said, every QB needs a security blanket. And for this team, I think it's Kittle. When you look at his total yards receiving for the year, he's at 800. And whenever you can get a tight end into that 800, 1,000 range, he has a really good year. And on top of that, he has 8 scores. I know that when we look at this 49ers team and when they are really moving on offense and when they excel, their tight ends are catching a lot of balls up the seam and they're getting the ball down the field and getting in the red zone really quick. So I think it's important in this game that he gets Kittle going early and often.
Yeah, and Bus, he mentioned, Kittle's attributes there. This is a guy with 53 catches this year, actually leads the team in catches at the tight end position. He's got 805 yards. He's averaging 15 yards a catch here. Mm-hmm. He's got 7 touchdowns at the tight end position. How important is this guy to Sweetz99 in this offense?
This is his key guy. I think without a tight end, I think Sweetz99 may struggle. He likes to spread the ball around, but his first look has to be Kittle. Kittle is a difference maker, man. The thing is, the Dolphins do have some fast linebackers who could possibly run with him stride for stride, but I think what makes Kittle different than any other tight end is his ability to get in and out of routes. So he can create separation, and that's going to be a key factor in this game.
Yeah, and Kittle is such a huge piece on that offense over there for the 49ers. And let's talk about Kalen Ballage out of Arizona State. This is a guy that's going to be kind of thrown into this starting role here in the biggest game of the year for the Dolphins, and not a guy that is new to this. He's got 83 carries on the year, which is third on this team. You talked about Reeves being second, Addy at 90 carries, and then you had Kenyon Drake, who was their workhorse before he got hurt, with 159 carries. But Ballage is averaging 5.2 yards a carry. How confident is tight work that he knows he can put this guy in the lineup? He's proven over the season that he's got that capability to be that number one guy. and not change his offense up at all and just allow Balaj to be himself and play this game as if he's got his entire roster ready to go?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like you said, I think for guys that have been in this game before, and you could probably attest to it, it's two different seasons: the regular season versus the postseason. And if you look at the postseason, and back in both games the Dolphins have played, Balaj has had 29 carries, so he's had a pretty hefty workload. His last game he had 194 yards and a TD. So you got to think, it's just like I said before, where you do what you're accustomed to doing. You don't really change the game plan, and you try to keep to those things that have gotten you into this position.
Yeah, and Bus, Balaj is not new to this. This is his 5th year in the league. He hasn't rushed for 1,000 yards yet. And because kind of Kenyon Drake, when he came for Miami, just kind of changed the way tight work ran the football. Balaj was his guy, and Kenyon Drake just kind of took over these past 3 seasons, averaging over 1,300 yards a year. This is a guy that is going to be missed, but Balaj is a guy that has not averaged less than 4.5 yards for an entire year. What does it mean for your offense when I can turn around and hand this ball off to my guy in the backfield, and we're going to end up with a 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5 every single time? How big is that for an offense, especially in a big game like the Super Bowl?
Oh man, that's huge when you can turn around and hand it off to your workhorse and know he's going to get at least 5 or 6 yards. I think it puts you in situations where you can get 2nd and 4, 3rd and 3, and be comfortable with completing the first down. I think the goal here is just to keep moving the chains. And if you got Balaj in the backfield and he's averaging 5.2 yards per carry,
yeah,
that's a plus for any offense that's on the field. So, and it helps the rookie, get in his little comfort zone and not have to worry about 3rd and long when you got Solomon Thomas breathing down your neck. So, I think this would be a great supporting cast for Reeves if Balaj can, carry the rock, not turn the ball over, and just do what he's asked to do, and that's run the ball.
Yeah. All right. One more thing for X factors. What stops these guys? So let's start with Kittle, Addy 5. A lot of times you're going to find your strong safety or a linebacker covering a tight end. Can Garrett Gibson from the Dolphins slow down? No one can stop George Kittle. He's that type of player. But can Garrett Gibson at the strong safety position, or maybe the second-year player Weatherington out of Illinois State, are these guys that you think can at least slow down George Kittle and maybe control his catches today?
I think that if you're asking anyone to shut down George Kittle one-on-one, then they're in for a long day. I think it has to be a concerted group effort. Safeties, like you said, they have to do a really good job in, getting in the box and locating Kittle before the ball snapped. I think that, yeah, you'll put too much stress on your linebackers if you're asking them to cover him one-on-one all game. So it has to be one of those things where everybody, all 11 men on defense, know where Kittle is, and they're making sure that he isn't killing them or making a huge impact in the game.
Yeah, and Bus, Addy talked about getting that safety in the box. It's one thing when you drop that safety down, but is Kittle one of those guys you can really be physical with? I mean, this is a guy that's 6'4", 250 pounds. That's 87 speed, 89 acceleration. This is a slot wide receiver here for the 49ers. Is this a guy you gotta put a defense in and get that shot on him first, or maybe get a linebacker to get a shove and kind of reroute him? Because if you try and get a safety to play physical with this guy, he's going to run you over or he's going to run past you as you try and take a shot at him. What's the best plan of action here for the Dolphins as they try and shut down number 85?
Man, I think the best plan here is first of all, you got to be aware of where he's at on the field at all times, whether he's lining up as a receiver, unless he's on the line. You got to know where he's at. And as you mentioned earlier, you got to get an elbow to the ribs or something. You cannot let this man get off the line free because, as you said, he will run past the safety, and he could possibly run the safety over. But if you're at least physical with him,
Yeah.
you can possibly slow him down a little bit. But that's all you can do is slow him down. You're not going to stop him.
Yeah. All right, let's flip over there to the Dolphins. What do the 49ers have to do to slow down this rushing attack, Addy? Bus talked about Reuben Foster is going to miss this game, which I believe that means Manti Te'o is going to get the start there at right outside linebacker. You may see the Dolphins kind of switch over and put Maben on that side. I know he likes Cedric because he is a big, physical linebacker, but I'm pretty sure you're going to see Manti Te'o. But what do these linebackers have to do to kind of slow this rushing attack down?
I think all 11 men have to get to the ball. If you watch him play and throughout the playoffs, what he does a really good job at, Balaj, is he breaks tackles. So the initial tackler oftentimes doesn't bring him down. And if all 11 men aren't rushing to the ball, that's where a 5-yard gain turns into a 15, 20-yard gain or even a long touchdown. So I think that everybody, linebackers, safeties especially, they got to make sure they're in the box and they know where this guy is, and they don't stop until he's on the ground.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge. I like that. You got to swarm to the football here. And one more thing, we talked about injuries here for both these teams, and a big injury bust that could affect this game is actually at that fullback position. You got Fisher Raymond, who was the number one fullback here for the Dolphins. He is actually out this game as well. So the top running back, top fullback, not going to see action today. And so that means the backup Trey Edmonds is going to have to step in at fullback and kind of take over. This is a guy that can catch the ball at the backfield, has tremendous speed, but maybe not the greatest run blocker. How big of injury to Fisher Raymond? How big is that here for the Dolphins?
That's a huge injury, man. But it kind of depends on how you look at it. Like Trey Edmonds is a fast guy who can get out there and catch the ball. However, when he gets out there to block, he's gonna get to his blocker real quick. Now, whether he knocks him down or holds him long enough, that's going to be up to Tyke to make that move or decide if he wants to juke in, spin out, or possibly just try to run that guy over. But Edmonds will get there. It just depends on what he's able to do once he is in contact with the guy. That's the big question. So he may have to make a decision whether, possibly use a tight end at that spot if Edmonds can't sustain his blocks.
Yeah, and the Dolphins do have some tight ends that are very capable of stepping in that role. Warren Fry has shown he can block, and maybe put him in that fullback position. I don't think you take Mike Gesicki and put him there because he is your guy that's your security blanket for Reeves. But we'll see. All right, those are the X factors here for the Super Bowl with the 49ers versus the Dolphins. One more thing before we get to the game, and we got to get some predictions. So we're going to flip over here to Game Time. And I'm just going to go to both of you guys. Tell me who wins and why they win this game. Bus, I'm going to go with you first.
Oh, man, this is going to be a tough one. But can we have a tie?
Tough because it's your brothers that are playing. You don't want to pick one or the other, and the guys come back and be like, "Hey, man, why you pick against me?"
Man, hey, I'm just getting my Donovan McNabb on. That's all. But hey, I'm gonna tell you, I personally think the Dolphins will win this game, and it's because I think the Niners have some key pieces that they've lost on defense with Reuben Foster. I think that's a huge piece as far as being able to stop Tight Work's run game. So I'm going with Tight Work, and I think he puts up another banner, and Sweetz99 earns his name, as we always call him, Dan Marino.
Oh, my goodness. Sweets, I know you're going to watch this at some point. I want to apologize for the bus. referencing Dan Marino for you.
Oh man.
You know what? I'll make up for that when it's my turn. All right, Addy, who wins this game and why?
Oh man. This is a really tough decision. And honestly is when you look at both teams and what they do well and what they struggle at, it's kind of like one strength is the other weakness, and it's a really good matchup. If I had to gun to my head, I know that Tight Work has been in a few Super Bowls, and you can't match that experience of being there before and actually winning and taking one home. But I think that I'm going to lean 49ers on this, and here's why. I think that Tight Work plays really good defense. I do. However, I think what will hurt him is his inability to score points. His inability sometimes to stretch the field with his passing game, because at this point, when you know what someone does well and you're coming in to stop it, now it's like, who else can beat me? And when you look at this Dolphins team, as Bus said earlier, God forbid Balaj goes down.
Yeah.
And then he's in a heap of trouble. I think that if the Niners can contain Balaj in the run game and simply just play his game, because nerves play a factor in this game, I'll be honest with you, and you find yourself not really going with the game plan that you came in with. But I believe if the Niners can stick with his game plan and not turn the ball over, he raises his first banner.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to piggyback off what Addy just said. The experience will play a role because Tight Work has won a Super Bowl. He's won 2 of them, and so he kind of understands what it takes. He's been in games where some bad things have gone against him, and he's fought his way back. And he's fought and won some of these games. But I said something earlier on the show that I think is so important, is that what Sweetz99 has done with this defense over these past couple seasons, he has shown that this defense is going to be something to be reckoned with going forward. And so he's going to rely on that group over there to kind of hold it together. And they're going to pride themselves on stopping this run attack because he knows that's what the Dolphins want. So I think because of the offense that the 49ers have and because of the corner he has turned with this defense, this is a dangerous 49ers team, and we've seen it all year. You don't win as many games as he's had over the past 3 years without being dangerous. Now, he's had kind of a thorn in his side with those Saints, and Addy 5 has kind of had his number, but Addy 5 wasn't there. He's not there in the end, and it's going to come down to Sweets. And I think now that monkey is gone, now that Steve Young has yanked that monkey off of the back, the 49ers are going to raise his first banner here in the DML. All right, so we got 2 guys 49ers, 1 guy Dolphins, but I'm sure if we let KP pick again, he might switch and pick the 49ers just because, they're good friends. So we appreciate the homie KP jumping on the pregame. And Addy 5, it's time for us to flip over to the Super Bowl. I think the guys are ready to get going. So let us flip. Let me get the okay. We are good to go. Got the okay from Dr. Dre, the producer. We are ready to go. Let's get 49ers versus the Dolphins. Time for Super Bowl here in the DML. And so this is a big, big game. And let's get going. Man, shout out to the homie Nasty Noob, a.k.a. Dr. Dre. Graphics always on point, Addy, as we get ready for this Super Bowl. And this is where you got to start. The Dolphins are actually going to kick the ball off here to the 49ers. And if you're the 49ers, you want to start quick here and play well here in this first series, especially coming out the gate. How important is that, Addy 5, on that first possession to go down and get some points? He's going to bring the ball out 8 yards deep, make a little move, fall forward action, and he's going to start at the 26. All right, Addy, how important is it to start fast, but also start smart and get you some points on this board?
Oh, man, I think it's huge. This is where you get the butterflies out, and if you can get a successful drive, move the ball a little bit, it sets you up for a great game because the more you can move the ball in a game like this, the more confidence you can build moving forward.
As the 49ers will go 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end. He'll have 1 back in the backfield. Garoppolo under center. 1st and 10 here at the 26 to start the Super Bowl. He's going to go dive up the middle here, and the 49ers are going to get absolutely nothing. I'm surprised he got back to the line of scrimmage as the 49ers are going to struggle if he continues to try and go outside with this linebacker crew for the Dolphins. They are dangerous at the linebacker position. Going to bring up 2nd and 8 here for the 49ers. He's going to go 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. He'll have a fullback flank to the right here in the backfield. Garoppolo under center. And we're going to get our first penalty here in the Super Bowl as the 49ers cannot hold their water there, Addy. That is big. How important are penalties here in the Super Bowl? In any game, but definitely they're more highlighted here in the Super Bowl. You can't afford to go in the opposite direction.
When you're playing a opponent that's just as good and in some cases better, what you can't do is beat yourself. You know what I mean? You got to come in and play a clean game, and you got to give yourself the best opportunities possible to be able to put yourself in position to succeed.
Yeah, great first pass here by Garoppolo in a tight window, but wide receiver goes up there and gets his pass. Going to bring up 1st and 10 here for the 49ers. He picks up 15 on that play. Going to be 1st and 10 from the 37 for the 49ers. And here are the 49ers. He's going to go twins left, 1 tight end. Strong formation here in the backfield. Garoppolo still under center. We're going to go halfback dive right up the middle. He's going to pick up 2 yards. Maybe he got 3, 2.5. It's going to bring up 2nd and 8 here for the Miami Dolphins. And it looks like the 49ers are content running the football here on 1st and 2nd down and then letting Garoppolo find a wide receiver. At some point, you got to open the offense up and kind of mix it up where the Dolphins are going to key in on that 1st down run. And Addy, you're one of those guys that is notorious for trying to keep your opponent off balance, not know what you're doing. And how big is that for a team where you can come out and the defense has no clue what you're doing, as we see Garoppolo in the shotgun for the first time?
Oh, that's huge. The one thing you don't want to do in a game like this is become predictable. When your opponent has a beat or a drop on you, there's no way you'll be able to win a game like this. The one thing I think Sweetz does well, when you look at him throughout the season, he was really balanced. 9th in passing yards and 8th in rushing. And he's going to have to keep that up today to be successful.
Yeah, as the Dolphins played great defense there on 2nd down, ended up getting a sack as Hunt gets through. Garoppolo had time, but he just held onto that ball too long. Garoppolo going to drop back, and he's got a guy wide over the middle, and Garoppolo airmails it to that X-Factor George Kittle, who comes back and makes the tackle as Reed with his first interception here in the Super Bowl, as he was in a deep cover 3rd. And he had George Kittle wide open there at E5, and Garoppolo just airmailed. Is that part of those jitters as you play in the Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes when you're playing with nerves, balls and passes that you usually make, they sail on you, and we see things like this. Now it's up to your defense. Can they come out here and get a stop?
Go ahead, Eddie.
No, I was going to say that's why you got in a game like this, you got to play complementary football. Yeah, your offense has to complement your defense and vice versa.
Yeah, and the 49ers came out with 8 in the box on that 1st down there, Addy. And the Dolphins said, we don't care about 8-man box. We're still running the football, and picks up 7 yards as Balaj does exactly what he's been doing all year, 5-6 yards a clip. And he's going to turn around and hand this ball right back to him now in a counter. And
great tackle.
Finally, a little stop there in the backfield. Solomon Thomas is a great pass rusher, but this is a guy that also plays the run very, very well. Not something we see from true DNs that love to get after the quarterback, but Solomon Thomas, a complete player. As Sweetz99 brought a little blitz there, going to bring up a big 3rd and 7 here for the Dolphins. as he had a huge run on first down and goes in opposite direction. Going to have trip wide receiver. He's going to have tight end in the backfield along with Balaj split to his left in the shotgun formation, making a couple changes here as Reeves. He's going to drop back, and he's just going to dump it off here to the tight end. That's not going to get the first down as the 49ers come up and make a great play, and the Dolphins are going to have to punt. And you talked about turn the ball over. Now you got to go and play defense, and that's exactly what the 49ers did. How big is that for him, Addy?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. You can put yourself in a hole before you know it, and sometimes it's too hard to dig yourself out. So great job by him and his defense coming out there and getting the stop.
Yeah, huge stop there as we're going to get a punt return here. And nice play there by the winger, by the stinger out there, as he just went down there and made a big tackle on a speed guy that if he makes him miss, he's picking up 10, 15 yards before the next guy even sees him. And now Garoppolo's going to get a chance to maybe change the momentum that he had after that ball that just sailed on him to George Kittle. He's going to go 2 tight end set here to the right, 1 running back in the backfield, Garoppolo under center. 1st and 10 here. Garoppolo's going to go back to pass, and he's got a wide receiver coming across the middle. He had lots of guys open there, Addy, and he went to Pettis, which is kind of his guy there. Only picks up a yard, but he had the tight end in the drag as well, wide open with nobody in that flat over there.
With a great pass rush like the Dolphins, sometimes you start to hear footsteps, and you want to get that ball out of there before a man gets there. So sometimes you're rushing your reads. So I think that's kind of what we saw there.
Yeah, and there we see Pettis again. And Garoppolo is very confident throwing this ball to Pettis in man-to-man coverage. With Pettis' size, he has no problem going up and getting the football. And that was a great throw by Garoppolo. After the airmail he had in the first series, he put that ball where only Pettis could go get it. And that is a huge pickup. 1st and 10 here at the 44 for the 49ers as we're going to go I formation here. Strong left, Garoppolo under center. We're going to get another play-action rollout. And that is our first fumble, another turnover here by the 49ers. And he's going to get up and run, and he's going to break a couple tackles. At 5, he's going to get down to the 14-yard line. And Garoppolo now with 2 big turnovers.
And that's what you can't do. We talked about that in the pregame, where in a game like this, turnovers usually decide the game. And already on the first 2 drives, we see 2 turnovers by Garoppolo. Not looking good.
Yeah, and now the Dolphins in the red zone at the 14, 1st and 10, as he's going to get pistol formation here in the backfield and hand the ball to Balaj. And he has a lot of room to run. He carries Solomon Thomas here for 5 yards. That is a nice run. He actually gave him 6 on that carry. Going to bring up 2nd and 4. The Dolphins can pick up a first down before they get into a 1st and goal situation. And if you're the 49ers here, you got to hold them to 3. You can't afford to give up the 7. After Garoppolo with his 2nd turnover, and Addy just talked about turnovers can win the ball game here, as we're going to go heavy set here in the backfield with Reeves kind of in that shotgun formation. We're going to get our first option and Balaj. Nobody there. I think the juke there, Addy, he had a touchdown if he just runs in the end zone.
Yeah, he did. You just got to give credit to the defender for not quitting on the play.
Yeah,
maybe that turns out to be a huge tackle.
Yeah, it could be a huge tackle, or it could just be one more play before the Dolphins put it in the end zone, as they have 1st and goal here in the Super Bowl with the Dolphins and the 49ers. They're going to be at the 3-yard line, and I expect heavy run here, and so do the 49ers, as they have 9 in the box to try and shut this down. And Reeves making some changes here, and we're going to hand it to the fullback. He's going to get to the 1-yard line. Trey Edmonds puts his head down, gets it to the 1-yard line as we see that triple option again. And when you have athletes in the backfield like a Reeves, like a Balaj, like a Trey Edmonds, how big is that a factor when you can run an option and you can give it to any 3 of those guys and any one of them can make a play?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge when you have pieces like that in the backfield. It makes it tough for the defense to really know where the ball is going to be.
As we get Reeves under center, he's going to take quarterback sneak, and that is an easy touchdown. Dolphins with the first points here in the Super Bowl on the DML Network. You got your boy Expert and Addy 5 here on the call as we're going to get our first extra point here, and that is money for the Dolphins, and that's going to put him up 7-0 here in the Super Bowl, and the 49ers are going to get this ball back. And this will be their 3rd possession here on offense, the first 2 not ending like they want. First one on interception, and then Garoppolo lays the ball on the turf with a fumble, as we're going to get Austin to bring this ball out 8 yards deep. And this is a guy that can really make plays for you, and he's going to get back to the 24. Should have took a knee. And now the 49ers, this is not really a must put points on the board, but they have to get Garoppolo some confidence here if they want to move forward. Is correct, Eddie?
Absolutely. I think here, like you said, it may not necessarily be about points, but about regaining your confidence. The one thing as a quarterback, after throwing a pick and then fumbling, they're probably going to be run heavy on this drive a lot and probably put the ball in Hines' hand.
Yeah, and Hines going to take that ball. He's going to pick up 9 yards. That was a nice little run as the Dolphins trying to rip that ball out of there. And that's one thing we know about tight work. He loves to create turnovers with this defense any way he can get them, whether a fumble, an interception, a sack, and have your quarterback put it on the ground. But that's big. Huge run there by the 49ers. The offensive playbook is wide open here as they go double tight end set. And Garoppolo's going to go back to pass. And he has options, and he's going to hit that X factor coming over the middle, as that's George Kittle with another catch here in this game. And that's just a guy that knows how to get open, gets in front of the linebacker, and sits down kind of in that zone, and no one can stop that at 6'5". He's 250 pounds. Just a big target here for Garoppolo. As we hit the 2-minute mark here in the first quarter, Garoppolo under center again, double tight end set. We got Hines in the backfield, 2 wide receivers on the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Garoppolo's going to drop back to pass, and he's got all day to stand back there. This is great protection. He's got a man open, and it's George Kittle. Ran a little wheel route there, Addy. What a throw there by Garoppolo. Are we starting to see a little confidence come back to the quarterback here?
I think I really like what the offensive coordinator is doing on this drive. He starts with a run. He gives Garoppolo, something short underneath to get his confidence back. And then he throws a really good ball. And they're cooking. The offense is cooking now.
Yeah, and he put Kittle out on that little out route, but it was actually a wheel, and the defender got sucked into the little out route. 1st and 10 here at the 18. He's going to go strong formation here. Going to get a toss here to Hines. And he's going to pick up just 1 yard here as the Dolphins play that very, very well. This is a great run defense here for the Dolphins. And he prides himself to let you kick a field goal when you're in this position versus getting 7 points. But the 49ers are exactly where they want to be, Addy. They are in position to put points back on this board.
Definitely.
Just got to secure this football and understand it's the most important thing. As we are under a minute here in the first quarter, Garoppolo's going to go in shotgun. He's got Hines split to the right, double tight end set, 1 wide receiver to the left, 2 wide receivers to the left. Garoppolo all day to throw the ball, and he's going to throw it in the end zone. And another high pass there as Garoppolo has shown some signs of, as the pressure starts coming, Addy, he starts to get, his feet start to get a little happy, and those balls start to sail on him.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say what the Niners want to be careful here is they got to get away with points. They got to leave here with points. You got to be careful with your passes in the red zone. He's already shown, like you said, to throw a few errant passes, and you can't leave here with a turnover. You got to get at least 3 on the board. It changes the game completely.
Yeah, as we get Garoppolo in the backfield, he's going to have Hines split to his left, Barnes split to his right. Kittle there in the slot position, and he went to look for Kittle, and a great play there by the linebacker core of the Dolphins as Garoppolo's going to take a sack. But in hindsight, that's not a bad play by Garoppolo. Don't force that ball in there. Allow your field goal team to come out here and maybe put some points on the board.
Absolutely. And it's one of those guys we talked about in the pregame, busted, sharp, coming off the edge, screaming, and makes a play for his team.
Yeah, he thought he had Kittle on that little post route over the top of that linebacker. The linebacker played it very, very well as we get a score here for the 49ers to make this a 7-3 ball game as Perkins is going to get this ball 7 yards deep, and he's going to bring it out. If he can get this block here, that's a great block. Make a move. Oh, as he's going to run over a player for the 49ers. Nice little return there for the Dolphins. Going to get it at 35. Brought it out from 7 yards deep as the Dolphins are now going to go back to work with this rushing attack with Reeves and Ballage and, of course, Trey Edmonds, the 3-headed monster that the Dolphins have in that backfield. And it's crazy to have a fullback that has 90 speed, 90 acceleration. How can you use that to your advantage? He's going to go single back formation, hand it to Ballage. And Ballage is going to take it outside, and he's going to get a block from the wide receiver, and he's going to run over the free safety. And a fumble. What a play here by the 49ers. Man. As Ballage trying to fight for that extra yardage. and the 49ers rip the ball out, and it
Yeah.
lands right in the cornerback's hands. What a play here for the 49ers, a turn of events.
Huge
As
play.
now
huge
the 49ers have a chance, Addy, to take the lead here, as they're going to start with 6 seconds left here in the first quarter. How big a play is that?
Oh, that's huge. A momentum play to swing it right back in his favor. We talked about Balaj in the pregame and how all 11 men had to swarm to the ball, and that's a case of it where the first tackle misses, but the second comes in and he's able to strip the ball away.
Yeah, and the Dolphins getting a little aggressive there on defense. Going to get a face mask here as George Kittle catches another ball. There goes that man again as he is just doing whatever he wants on offense. It's actually going to bring us to the end of the first quarter here. Dolphins 7, 49ers 3. Dolphins with 1 turnover, 49ers with 2 turnovers, and that's really the big key factor in this game so far. If the 49ers can hang on to this football, they are already in field goal range. They can get it to a 1-point game or take the lead here with the touchdowns. Garoppolo's going to be in a shotgun formation. He's got Kittle in the slot to his left. Hines split right, making a couple changes here at the line. He's going to turn around and hand to Hines. Ooh, and he spun back into the plays. We get another face mask.
Another face
Huge penalties here by the Dolphins. Back-to-back face masks. That's going to give them first and goal from the 9, as that's going to give them half the distance to the goal. And the Dolphins trying to do everything they can to get that fumble back and just making a couple bad decisions as they're trying to tackle us. We're going to get strong formation here. Hines in the backfield, Garoppolo under center. First and goal from the 9. Garoppolo making a couple changes at the line of scrimmage. He's going to drop back to throw this football, and he's going to take off. Ooh, and that's dangerous. Garoppolo not known to make guys miss, but not afraid to use his feet to get a couple extra yards. He's going to pick up 2 there. But, Addy, you can't afford to get Garoppolo hurt here in the Super Bowl, especially early here in the second quarter.
Yeah, no, you can't. That's excellent defense by tight work to cover the running back out the backfield and be able to come up on the rushing quarterback.
Yes, he's going to turn around, hand to Hines, and he's got, nice play. And we get another face mask here from the Dolphins, and that's going to be first and goal from the 2-yard line. Tight work. You got to calm it down a little bit there, man.
Yeah,
you are allowing this 49ers team free plays, and he played very, very well. Cornerback gets off with a wide receiver block, has the tackle. Running back's not going to gain a single yard, and then we get the penalty. It's going to be first and goal here from the 2. That's kind of demoralizing for your defense to know you've got 2 big stops there on first and second down, and then you give them free plays. We're going to get I formation tight here by the 49ers, and we're going to get a toss sweep here, and he's got the big, nice play here.
It's a great tackle.
That is a nice play there by the Miami Dolphins, as he's going to give up 1 yard. It's going to be second and goal here from the 1. But how demoralizing is that for your defense to know you got 2 big stops, you got a third down coming up, and you get a cheap penalty like a face mask?
I think it can definitely be demoralizing, but the one thing you can't do is feel bad about yourself and sulk. Like you see, you just got to go out there and continue to make plays.
Garoppolo under center and goal line formation. We're going to do a halfback dive here, and that's an easy walk-in touchdown. Hines probably is not – I'm sorry, that may be Jones in the backfield. Jones in the backfield, not an easier touchdown for the year, and he got it here in the Super Bowl. As the 49ers are going to go up here as the extra point is good. He's going to go up 10-7. Turnovers playing a huge role here in the Super Bowl. Very exciting game as these 2 guys go back and forth. 49ers set to kick off here to the Dolphins. That's going to be another 7-8 yards in the backfield. Perkins is going to take this ball out and go straight up the middle here. He's going to cut. Oh, if he cuts to his right, Addy, he may have ran until the band started playing, but he missed that. He misread the block there. All right, the Dolphins, the ball back in their hands. Not panic time yet. You got to just run your offense. You got plenty of time. 6 minutes, 27 seconds left here in the first half, and you got all 3 timeouts. Is this the time to feed the beast in the backfield? I know he had a fumble on the last play, but Balaj has played well besides the fumble.
Yeah, I would continue to hand the ball off. Play your game. That's what he does. He runs the ball. He gets positive yards that way, but you don't want to get in a situation and turn the ball over again. You know what I mean? So you got to do things you're comfortable with and just try to get to the half. And
there's that adjustment that we've been looking for from the Dolphins is he did not run on first down. He put Reeves in the shotgun formation with Balaj back there. But he finds Gesicki, his tight end, who is a very good tight end. Doesn't get talked about a lot in this matchup because George Kittle is on the other side. but he picks up 9 yards fighting for those extra few yards after the first contact. As we're going to get now trips bunch here to the right, Ballage in the backfield, split right, Parker out to the left, Reeves back to throw again, and he's got Ballage wide open in the flat, and he's going to run for days as he's going to pick up a huge gain of 26 yards here on 2nd and 1. Going to bring up 1st and 10 now in 49er territory at the 39. And the Dolphins starting to sling this ball around here in the second quarter. One to the tight end, one to the running back, and the Dolphins are in business here, Addy.
Yeah, I think that was a great adjustment by Tightwork to motion the receiver over and kind of get the defense confused. He gets a huge chunk play.
As Ballage, just a workhorse at running back, hasn't really got the carries that he feels he deserves. As we talked to him this week, Drake has just come in and just been a rock star here in Miami for this Dolphins team. And Ballage kind of understood that when he got here, Drake was the guy. He had to kind of try and fight for those carries. And he said now he's going to get them with Drake Hurst. Now we're going to get Ballage get a little break. So we're going to get the third string running back here, Fields, in the backfield in a pistol formation. Trey Edmonds split to the right. Gesicki to the left at tight end position, and Reeves back again to throw. And this is where Reeves is dangerous.
Absolutely.
Because there is not – and he's going to get a personal foul for tackling him out of bounds.
Yep.
49ers with a bad penalty is going to get half the distance to the goal. Is going to bring up 1st and 10 from the 14. But Addy 5, that's where Reeves' legs really help you on this offense, because when there's not something, he can create anything on this offensive side of the football. And there's not a linebacker on this 49er team that can run with him, as we see him have a huge pickup and then get the penalty. Now he's going to go pistol formation to the left, Gesicki to the right, and we're going to get Ballage with another carry. He's going right up the middle and just carries guys for 9 yards. What a run there. He actually picks up 8. It's going to bring up 2nd and 2 here for the Miami Dolphins, and they are starting to get this offense clicking here in this Super Bowl, Addy. How big is this offense when they can run and throw the ball with the efficiency that they're doing right now?
Hey, man, I think that this offense at times can be really dynamic. You mentioned Reeves before, and with a playmaker like that in the backfield where you always got to keep an eye on them, sometimes it allows other receivers to get open and allows the linemen to open up holes in the run game. Yeah,
and we're going to get QB power here straight up the middle. He picks up 2, but I think it's going to be a little bit short. It's going to bring up 3rd and inches. As the QB blast picked up 2, just couldn't lean forward enough to get the first down for the Dolphins. Is this 2-down territory? If you don't pick up this 3rd and inches, are you kicking the field goal to tie this ball game?
I think this early in the game, you got to take the points. Later in the game, you can be a little more dicey when you understand the situations. But right now, in a close game, the last thing you want to do is swing the momentum back to the other side.
Trey Edmonds going to get the carry, and that's an easy pickup for a first down. It's going to pick up 3 yards. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. And the Dolphins with an opportunity to put this ball in the end zone and recapture the lead. 3 minutes and 55 seconds and counting here in the DML Super Bowl. Dolphins versus the 49ers. This is co-host versus co-host from Numbers Don't Lie. As Reeves under center in the goal line formation. We may see another quarterback sneak. No, we're going to get a halfback draw. And this is a great play here by the 49ers.
It is. It really is.
We got halfback dive there and just nowhere to go. And Tart just comes up and makes a huge play here for the 49ers. He's going to push them back to the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal here for the Dolphins at the 2. And this is, you can't get away from your offense here. You got to turn around and hand the ball to that monster in your backfield and just let him lean forward and try and get you a couple yards here to put you back in the lead. But also, are you really concerned as the clock is ticking to just utilize as much of this play clock as possible?
I think you can't really think about the clock.
And Trey Edmonds is going to walk into the end zone. That's the triple option threat right there. You can just hand it to any one of those guys, or Reeves can keep it. Trey Edmonds puts it in the end zone. And so the clock really doesn't mean anything. Sweetz is going to get the ball back. 3 minutes and 16 seconds left. He's going to be down 14-10 as he gets the ball back here in the second quarter. And plenty of time for this 49ers offense. They are explosive. We've seen Kittle get open. Pettis can catch a ball. We've seen Hines has got a couple big runs. as we're going to see Austin 8 yards deep, and he's bringing this out. He's going to take it right up the middle, hopefully pick up a couple blocks. He's going to go to his right, just kind of missed the hole a little bit there. Yeah. Nice little return. Takes it to the 28, 1st and 10 here for the 49ers. 3 minutes and 12 seconds, all 3 timeouts. Plenty of time here for the 49ers, especially with this explosive offense like we talked about. But, Addy 5, this is where Sweets has got to be smart and not force something here with Garoppolo and give the ball back to the Dolphins with time left on the clock here in the second quarter.
It's absolutely like you said. What you don't want to do is commit the double whammy. Turn it over, allow him to score before the half, and he gets it back to start the third quarter.
Yep. As he's going to go 5 wide receivers, and he's got a wide open Kittle going down the seam, and the free safety comes and dislodges that football out. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10. As he was going for a home run there, Addy, on first down. And maybe you take your shot there on first down to kind of settle it down here, because the other thing you don't want to do is be a three plays quick and out and give the Dolphins back without having to use a timeout here.
Absolutely.
Garoppolo in the backfield, 5 wide receivers set, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Kittle might as well just be another wide receiver. As Kittle's run a little stop and go, and that is not a good decision there by Sweets. Maybe some of those Super Bowl jitters when you look up at the scoreboard and realize that you're down, and the Dolphins get the ball back after halftime, forced a little ball there into George Kittle, and he was not open. Going to bring up a big third down and 10 here for the 49ers, as the Dolphins have got all 3 timeouts left, plus the 2-minute warning. They get a stop here on 3rd and 10 and don't take much time off of this clock. The Dolphins are in business to kind of blow this game open, Addy.
Absolutely. What Sweets has to do here.
And we get a big sack here from the Miami Dolphins, and doesn't look like he's going to take a timeout. He's going to let this clock run, as there's plenty of time before the 2-minute warning. He's going to get this punt return as a 4th and 17 here for the 49ers. And those are just 3 bad plays by the 49ers, Addy. We had tons of time and just never really got his offense going.
Yeah, it was like what you said before, where you don't want to give him the ball back too early. And
big run back here by the Dolphins. He's going to take it all the way back into 49er territory at the 49. And Addy 5, the Dolphins are in business with a chance to make this an 11-point game here in the second quarter. This could be huge. The 49ers have to lock up. The worst case scenario, you give up 3 and go down 7 here going into halftime.
Absolutely. The defense has to put their hard hats on, and they absolutely have to get a stop here. Not even give up 3. They have to get the ball back for their offense.
We're going to get Fields in the backfield. Blair in motion here from right to left. We're going to get a little run here by Fields, and he's a little hesitation. I like that little hesitation in the backfield as allowed those blockers kind of pick up their blocks. He's going to pick up 8 here on first down. And the Dolphins in no rush to throw this ball around like the 49ers were. He's going to run his offense. Got 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning coming up as he is at the 40-yard line of the 49ers. Get I formation. Ballage back in the backfield. And the 49ers have 8 in the box to try and shut this run. We're going to get play action here from Reeves. 2 guys in a set, and he's going to throw the ball up deep here. Ooh, and that is dangerous. Nice play there by the 49ers secondary, as that was a just one-on-one, give your guy a shot. And, Addy, I know you love that kind of play. You love throwing that to your big wide receiver out there in New Orleans, trying to just give him a shot to go catch that football.
Oh, I do. And I think second and short, that was a great time to call a shot like that. You try to catch the defense off guard.
Yeah, and we get a neutral zone infraction here from the 49ers there. Foot meet bullet as he is shooting himself.
Absolutely. As
the 49ers give up a first down here to the Dolphins. Stops the clock, no clock running. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left. Still has a 2-minute warning plus all 3 timeouts. Shotgun formation. You got Ballage split to the right. Trips wide receivers to the left. You got Gesicki kind of spread out there on the right-hand side. He's going to hand the ball to Ballage. A little inside zone. He's going to take a shot from Manti Te'o, but he's going to pick up 6 yards on first down. That's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. And the Dolphins are in business here in the DML Super Bowl, up 14-10 here over the 49ers and driving down the field. They're going to be at the 30-yard line as we come out the 2-minute warning. 2nd and 4 here for the Dolphins. And he's already in field goal range. So this is kind of just be smart, use the clock. But looks like Tightwork's going to try and go take a shot here. Reeves in the backfield, Ballage split to the right, Gesicki tight right, Reeves back to throw, and he's got Gesicki wide open. He missed him. And Reeves is just going to take off, and he's going to slide down and pick up 7. Oh, he picked up 2 yards. Wow, I thought he picked up more than that.
Yeah.
3rd and 2. That looked better.
Man.
He was maybe been far back in that backfield. Picks up 2 yards. He slides down. Didn't want to take the hit there. 3rd and 2. But this clock is running. 49ers not taking a timeout. If 49ers get a stop here on 3rd down, I expect to see a timeout as he's going to want the ball back here before halftime. As we get 6 in the box, 7 in the box here for the 49ers. He's expecting a run. That's exactly what he gets. And a great play here by the 49ers. Here comes the timeout for the 49ers.
Short.
4th and 1.
That's a great stop by defense.
There's the timeout from the 49ers. Come on, man. Just pay attention, Sweets. I'm going to help you out a little bit. Take the timeout. Wait, let a couple seconds off the clock. Wasted a little bit of time there as the Dolphins are going to line up to kick this field goal. And that looks to be right down the middle. Dolphins go up 17-10 here in the second quarter. And the 49ers have an opportunity, as bad as they have played here in the first half, with some turnovers, some penalties, and just kind of giving the ball back to the Dolphins in great position. They have a chance to tie this ball game up, Addy. And so you kind of feel good about yourself when you play as bad as they have and know you have an opportunity to tie this ball game up. How big a confidence booster is that going into the second half?
I think it's huge. Although they've given up 17 points, I think the defense is playing really well for the position the offense has put them in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 2 turnovers. The fumble was crazy. Put him in, in the red zone on the fumble from Garoppolo.
Yeah, the 3 and out just now.
The 3 and out, just horrible. Gave up a big punt return there as well. As Garoppolo's going to be in the shotgun. Hines split to his left. We're going to get 3 wide receivers. Tight end. He's got Kittle split to the right. And we're going to get another sack here from the Miami Dolphins as Sharp. Have you a ball game, son? 2 sacks here and 2 tackles as well. He's going to sack Garoppolo here for a -7. Going to bring up 2nd and 17 as the clock runs under a minute. This is where you got to keep Hines in here to block and kind of get that left tackle out there a little help. But he doesn't. Left tackle alone. Sharp, Garoppolo gets away. And he's got a wide open player. Can he stay in bounds? What a play here. What a play by Garoppolo to find Hines running down the sideline. That is a huge play because Sharp had Garoppolo in his mitts and just missed and whiffed on the tackle there. That could prove to be a big mistake there for the Dolphins and Sharp there at defensive end, as now the Miami Dolphins find themselves trying to hold the 49ers to 3 points here before halftime versus giving up a tying score. As Hines going to get the ball in the backfield, and that goes nowhere. Oh, and we got an injury as Hines goes down. He's clutching that back. That is not good. Let's hope it's just a cramp or he lost the wind. The 49ers need 21 in that backfield. He plays a huge role on this offense. Our first injury. It's going to require the 49ers also to take their last timeout. 38 seconds left on the clock. He still has time to throw this ball all over the field and get up and spike this ball as Garoppolo's making some changes. He's got trips right in a bunch formation, and the Dolphins are coming after Garoppolo. He's got all day throw. He's going to take off and run. Garoppolo gets down. He's going to take it to the 25. Clock running. Picks up the first down. 25 seconds and counting. And he's going to run a play here. And the Dolphins take a timeout as they don't think they got the right defense on the field. That kind of helps the 49ers out there, Addy, as Tight Work takes the timeout with 22 seconds left.
Maybe he saw something in his defense that he didn't really like. And in a situation like this where you're already giving up 3, what you don't want to do is give up the sure 7. So I like it. I like the timeout.
As we get bunch twins here for the 49ers. Garoppolo in the backfield. He's going to drop back to pass. He's got crossing routes going all over the place, and he's going to take a shot here, and that is a huge play for Tight Work and this Miami Dolphins team. Garoppolo forced that ball in where he didn't need to. All right, and Hines will be back. Just a little bruised rib problem. Tape that up. Give him a little cortisone shot. He'll be all right. As the Dolphins are going to come out and take a knee here, and we're going to take this game here to the end of the first half. And how big a play is that there for the Dolphins to get an interception there going into halftime to hold this 49ers to the 10 points they already had on the board?
Oh, that's a huge play on defense. However, I think that's a bonehead play by the Niners. When you're in a position like that, knowing that the Dolphins get the ball at halftime, you got to get points. especially after you call the timeout for you, it's either you throw the ball out of the end zone or you throw it to your man wide open for a touchdown. You can't get dicey in that situation.
Yeah, and he had crossing routes underneath that were open. That may have got him 5 or 6 yards, but he wanted the 7 as the 49ers are going to kick this ball off, and Perkins going to get a chance to return. It's only 6 yards deep in the end zone. He's going to go to the left, and he's got some blocks. Oh, he tried to make one move. Great play there by the 49ers special teams. Hold him to just a 28-yard return as the Dolphins are going to get this offense back on the field. And this is where the Dolphins love the position they're in, because now they can work the clock, run the football, use Ballage, use Reeves, use Trey, and just kind of control this game here in the second half. As you see the yardage there up on the screen, 49ers winning in most of the statistics. Of course, we knew the Dolphins were going to win the rushing attack, as Ballage is going to get the first carry in the second half, put his head down, and pick up 3 yards. Good little play to start the second half for the Dolphins. But the 49ers really have dominated this game as far as field position, as far as yards. But it's those turnovers that are just killing the 49ers. What did the coaches say in that locker room to this 49ers team, especially to their quarterback, number 10, Garoppolo?
I think they told them that they're wearing red and not white, you know? You look at a game where if any coach, you would tell him that his quarterback has three turnovers at the half and they're only down 7. I think any coach would be happy to be in that kind of situation. So you just got to come in this half, take care of the ball, like you said, and not cost yourself.
Yeah, as Ballage gets another carry, picks up 8 yards and the first down. And this kid Ballage in the backfield, how important is it for these 49ers to gang tackle this guy? Because he does not go down on the first person that hits him.
It's like we saw earlier, where on the play where the defense created the turnover, the first guy missed, but because they swarmed to the ball, they were able to knock it out. So they have to continue to do that and allow Ballage to get tired as he gets more reps throughout this game.
Reeves in the backfield. He's going to take a shot here, and that's going to fall incomplete as the last secondary pokes that ball out of there as he was going to Gesicki there on the little corner route. Bring up 2nd and 10 here for the Dolphins. And, Ballage is one of those guys where if you tackle him up high, you have a good chance of getting run over. You got to grab one of those meat legs he's got and kind of twist him down. As he's not a small back. As we get strong formation, Ballage going to get another carry. And there is a big play for the 49ers as we're going to get a 3rd and 11. Not a comfortable position here for tight work, as he is not a big drop back and wait for guys to get open. And this is a big play for the 49ers to come out of the halftime after having 3 turnovers, being down 7, to come out and get a stop here on defense can be huge for this 49ers team. And I know Garoppolo is itching to get back on the field. We're going to get trips to the left, Gesicki to the right, Ballage in the backfield. He's going to check and release. We're going to get a pass. Nice play here.
That's great
by
defense.
The 49ers as they're going to drop that ball in the dagger route.
And that's just what you talked about, man.
Go ahead, Eddie.
I said that's just what you talked about, coming out in the half and getting a stop and getting the ball back to your offense.
Yeah, and that is huge as the 49ers are going to get the ball back here. Dolphins set back to punt. 6 minutes, 45 seconds and counting here in the third quarter. And this is a good punt here by the Dolphins. Oh, and he got the 49ers to bite on it as he's going to take the ball out at the 8-yard line. I think that's one you got to kind of let bounce and pray that it finds its way into the end zone.
Yeah. Yeah, Tavon just has to let that go, man.
He's one of those guys, though, that he thinks if he can touch the ball, every time he touches it, he can have a big play. And so when you have that mentality, you kind of want the ball in your hands, and that kind of backfired on him as Sharp and these Miami Dolphins back on the field. We're going to get Garoppolo in the backfield, dual running backs in the backfield with him. Kittle, tight slot to the right, and we're going to get a play action, and he barely got that ball off as the Dolphins were bringing a little pressure here coming off of the edge, and that running back on the right side stood there like he just didn't know he was playing football and just allowed the slot corner to come in free to make that play. 2nd and 10, Garoppolo very, very blessed to get that ball out of his hands when he did.
Absolutely.
That could have been disastrous if he was holding that ball a little bit and that was a fumble or even a sack to push him all the way back to the 2-yard line. We're going to bring up 2nd and 10. Hines split to the right. Garoppolo back to throw, and he's going to take a shot. And this Miami Dolphins team defense is playing with 12 or 13 players, it must seem like, for Garoppolo, because there is a white jersey everywhere he throws the ball. Tried to force another one in there, and the Dolphins are in great field position here, Addy. 1st and 10 at the 25, already up 7. Garoppolo not having a good game.
And it's crazy for a team coming in that only forced 20 picks for the year. They're already at 3. So they're playing above, obviously, what they've done this year. And it can't bode well for the Niners.
No, and the Dolphins pride themselves on this defense side of the ball as Ballage, another 6-yard carry. I'm telling you guys, if you need a running back in the DML and Ballage is on the table, go and give this man a pick or two and get Ballage to get on your offense, because he's just a guy that never seems to be losing yards. He's always going forward, and he's played a great game here. It's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but he's done exactly what he wants to do as he runs another player over, and just the swarming 49ers defense gets a stop for 0 yards. But that play was in the backfield, and he made something out of nothing. Going to bring up a big 3rd and 5 here for the 49ers. Got to hold this team to just a field goal attempt. Cannot afford to give a touchdown here and go down 14. Big play here for the 49ers, Addy.
Oh, this is huge. Like they've seen this whole game. Their backs are against the wall, and we're looking for them to get another stop for this offense.
Oh, and Gesicki goes up and gets it. He actually had 2 guys wide open. The slot wide receiver, there was nobody there. That would have been an easier catch. But Gesicki, a guy that just doesn't get talked about in this matchup because George Kittle's on the other side, is doing exactly what he's done all year. He catches the ball for Reeves. Whenever Reeves feels he needs to check it down or find a guy, he goes and finds Gesicki, and it's working for him here in the Super Bowls. The Dolphins in a stranglehold right now, Addy, up 24-10.
Yeah, the Niners got to be careful because this is usually the time where games get out of hand. So he has to put the drives together.
What a move. What a move by Tavon Austin. And that's the Tavon Austin that we like to see.
Definitely.
As he put a dangerous little move. Someone go check that Miami Dolphin. He may need surgery on that ankle. Tavon Austin with a sick little cut there. And the 49ers, and Addy, you talked about this is the spot where a 14-point game, you could look up and it's a 28-point game.
Oh, yeah. I think that they have to be very, very careful in forcing passes into coverage. What I've noticed throughout the game, a trend is there have been, like he's done there's been a lot of open receivers underneath. So just work the underneath. Sometimes it's okay to take 5 yards here, 4 yards there, and just put drives together.
Yeah, and you can throw that little 4-yard route. He makes one guy miss, and it turns into a 12-yard gain versus you trying to force it into double coverage with one of your wide receivers. As Garoppolo's going to be in the shotgun, Hines split to his left. Looks like the ribs are doing all right for Hines as he's going to get a little run here. And the Dolphins defense not allowing anything as Hines has 8 rushes for 18 yards. That is not a good stat line if you're a running back in the Super Bowl.
Pretty dismal. And I think that's why he's able to cover those receivers well, because this team has been pretty balanced throughout the year, but he's doing a great job of making them non-existent in the run game.
Yep, Garoppolo back to pass. Hines staying in the block. And the Dolphins almost got to Garoppolo as he's going to find a way to get away from that. And Garoppolo has more rushing yards than Hines does for the 49ers. 3 carries, 21 yards. He picks up 9 there to bring up a first down as the Dolphins put a blanket out on wide receivers. Nobody open. And he almost took another sack. Garoppolo's gotten away from a couple potential sacks to make something out of nothing. Good play there by number 10. Now, if he could just find a way to get those guys in red jerseys the football versus throwing it to the white team, as the Dolphins brought a little blitz, and he has Nigel Hines. He has Hines out in the backfield for an easy pickup. Garoppolo 9 for 16, 165 yards, but it's those 3 interceptions that are going to come back and haunt him if they lose this football game.
Yeah, and he has to be careful because, like you said, credit Garoppolo for making plays in the backfield and shedding some of those sacks. But if they keep letting free rushes at the quarterback, it's not a formula for success.
Yeah, it's never going to work out for you. As Nyheim Hines has to get some kind of running game going here for the 49ers to kind of get these linebackers to step up and allow Garoppolo to find those guys deeper down the field. as he's in shotgun formation, making several changes at the line of scrimmage. We're going to go play action here, and he's got him wide open. Take a shot down the middle. Nice play here. Pettis drops the football.
Oh, man.
That's one you got to catch for your quarterback. He called a great play. He caught the Dolphins in man coverage, and he caught Pettis on as a fast wide receiver on a slower corner, and he had him wide open. Garoppolo put it in the right spot where only he can make the play. You got to find a way to come down with that football, and he drops it in the end zone. That would have been a huge play for the 49ers to bring them back within one score, as Garoppolo's going to go under center here at second down. Hines going to get a carry, and exactly what's happened that was Jones with the carry.
Jones.
And Jones doing exactly what Hines is doing. Aaron Jones, the former Green Bay Packer, picking up.
I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of wish that Pettis would have showed up in the divisional round, because it seemed like he caught everything then.
Yeah, he caught everything versus the Saints at that point. So he's looking for Kittle, and it's not there. Garoppolo's going to take off. Oh, and he falls forward for a big pickup. And this is where, if you're the 49ers, your field goal kicker didn't even warm up.
Yeah, you got to go for it.
He's on the sideline. He knew. Oh, he's going to take the 3 here, Addy. This is a decision I do not like on 4th and 1. You got to put your offense back on the field.
I'll say this: you can never get mad at points, and I think he understands that in a position like this.
And he missed a field goal.
Oh man!
And he missed a field goal. Here's why I didn't like it. It's a 59-yard field goal with no wind.
Dang.
You got to put your offense back on the field. Tight work on the other side. They just called and put an order in to get their Super Bowl shirts ready for them to come out of the locker room, as well as hats. The champagne has now started to make its way to the Miami Dolphins locker room. You cannot continue to shoot yourself in the foot. That's a turnover.
Absolutely.
It's not going to show up as a turnover, but it's a turnover. So Ballage gets another carry, one-on-one with the free safety, and that is a win for 27 every single time, as he is channeling his inner Leonard Fournette, running up the middle, put his head down, picks up 14 yards, and Ballage doing exactly what he wants to do, and that's put this offense on his back, run the clock down, and allow this Dolphins team to control the line of scrimmage, doing a great job. Ballage having the game of his life because it's in the Super Bowl. 49ers, 8 in the box here. They're going to try and stop this run game. As we're going to get play action here with Reeves, and he has Ballage open. Nice play here by the corner to make that tackle. Reeves only 5 of 8, 53 yards. Is that typical for a Reeves type of game where he just doesn't have the huge numbers that you just look at and say, man, this guy can sling the football?
Oh, absolutely. The Dolphins use Reeves as a game manager. He understands who he is, and he isn't trying to be anyone else. Pass it when they're open and hand that ball off.
Ballage having the game of his life right now, as we're going to get strong right pistol formation here. Ballage in the backfield, and we're going to go option here, and great play there by the 49ers.
Great tackle.
They made a change there at halftime to kind of put a guy spied on the quarterback on that option play. Should have handed it to Trey Edmonds coming underneath. Going to bring up a big 3rd and 15 here. Not a spot the Dolphins like to be in again, but the 49ers need a stop right here. A turnover would be amazing for these guys. Can't afford to let Gesicki get open down the middle of the field here, as Reeves is in the backfield, no running back in the block, and it's just going to be a quarterback draw as he's going to take off and pick up a big 10 yards and put the Dolphins in a position to try and kick a 56-yard field goal. But it looks like the Dolphins are going to put the offense back on the field, or maybe he's going to punt. Dolphins.
Yeah, I like.
This is a smart decision here, Addy.
Yeah, I love the punt here. Kind of like when you saw with the Niners the possession before. Sometimes it's a little too far, and you can't trust your kicker, and you either got to go for it or I love this play. Punt it away, and your defense has been playing great all day, and just allow them to do what they've been doing.
Wow. What a punt here by the Dolphins, as he's going to pin the 49ers all the way back at the 3-yard line. That is a huge play from a savvy veteran who has played in this game. He has banners. His legacy is cemented already in the DML, and he is playing a smart football game up 14. Instead of risking missing that kick and giving the 49ers great field position or going for it and not making it, He punts the football as Hines is going to get a carry here, and he's got some room here, and this is where Hines is dangerous.
That's a great tackle.
Can't make the safety miss as he's going to come up and make the tackle. He picks up 11 yards, and that's the first real room that Hines has had to run the football. Is this kind of a little too late here for the 49ers in the run game?
Well, I don't think it's ever too late. All it takes is one missed tackle, and a guy with speed like Hines can take it to the crib. You have to stay honest. You have to keep the defense honest and still run the ball because you never know, and that sets up the play action pass that Sweetz likes to throw a lot.
Garoppolo making some changes here as he's in pistol formation as Hines, 95 speed, 94 acceleration, stays in the block. Garoppolo, another fumble. Ooh, and just a lucky bounce here for the 49ers as an offensive lineman catches that football over his shoulder, not even looking for it. That is a magician play by the right tackle, the left tackle. Great play there. 49ers only lose 2 yards, 19 seconds and counting here in the third quarter. 49ers down 14 points to the Dolphins. Kittle in the backfield along with Hines and Garoppolo. We're going to get play action pass, and he kept Hines and Kittle in both to block. He's going to take a shot here down the field, and Tankersley misplays the football, and there is that guy Pettis.
Yep.
He goes up and gets a football. Tankersley was in a great position. He just mistimed his jump there, and Pettis, a huge play here for the 49ers as the third quarter ends, down 24-10, but he's in position. Big 55-yard gain. 1st and 10 here for the 49ers at the Dolphins 33. Kind of give a little life here to the 49ers at the end of the third quarter. And Pettis finally doing what we've seen him do all year, go up and get a football. And that brings back some horrible memories, Addy.
Tell me about it, man.
He's done that to all of us. It's not just you. Oh, my goodness.
What was that?
They're going to call that a forward pass.
Man. Garoppolo's being dicey with his passes, man.
Wow. What an animation there for Garoppolo to pitch that ball underhanded in traffic.
Wow.
To try and find Hines leaked out to the left. He had Hines wide open. He just got to dump it off over the top. So he's going to get Hines split here to the right, trips formation to the left, one wide receiver to the right. Garoppolo making some changes here. He's got to keep Hines in to block. Here comes this front three here right now. As we're going to get play action. He brought a little pressure. Hines picks up the block. We get a flag here.
Probably
that touchdown is coming back as a hold will be called on Nyheim Hines there in the back.
Dang.
That is a huge penalty, Addy.
The Niners are just killing themselves, man. Whether it's a turnover or it's flags, they keep getting in their own way. Whenever something positive happens, it comes right back because of errors, mental errors.
Yeah, that's a huge penalty there for the 49ers. Going to bring up 2nd and 20 from the 43. As Pettis caught that ball in the end zone for a touchdown. Was going to bring it back to one possession game. Was still a ton of time left on this clock. He's going to get bunch trips to the right. Hines stays in the block. Here comes the Dolphins, and that is a sack. No, Garoppolo gets away again, and he is going to pick up some big yards, tiptoe down the sideline, take it all to 29. Wow. Garoppolo turning in to a monster of breaking the tackle in the backfield. That is 3 times this game where the Dolphins had him dead to rights for a sack, and he breaks away, and not only breaks away, but he makes a big play, picking up 14 yards there on 2nd down, Addy.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. You go from third and long after a sack or a potential sack, and now it's 3rd and manageable.
Looks like the Dolphins are going to bring some pressure. Addy's going to bring the strong safety Armstrong down into the box. Ooh, and he's got him on aggressive. And
that's short.
That's going to be short. It's going to bring up a 4th down. You cannot afford to not convert this. This is life and death right here for the 49ers. You do not have an opportunity to get his ball back to the Dolphins. Down 14 with 7 minutes left in this football game. This has to be a pickup. And he's got Jones in the backfield. Hines on the sideline. Is this quarterback sneak? He's going to toss it here. And that may not work. That is a bad decision from the 49ers. As the Dolphins were prepared for the toss sweep. This is where you just got to put your head down with Garoppolo. He's not a small quarterback. This is a guy that has some height and weight on him. He's 6'2", 225 pounds. You got to put your head down and pick up 12 inches.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we've seen Garoppolo in the backfield break a couple tackles. You just got to hand it off to him and trust that he can get that 1 yard for you.
And this is what happens. You turn the ball over, and Balaj goes over the century mark in the Super Bowl. If you had to pick MVP as 27, your clear-cut favorite here.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I think that he's put this Dolphin team on his back. I mean, he's literally carrying them to a victory.
16 carries, 101 yards, and he has done everything that the Dolphins have asked him to do: block, catch balls out of the backfield, and the Dolphins are going to continue to run. And another 49ers secondary player is laying on his back after getting run over. That is Fields, the third-string running back, comes in, picks up 12 yards. The Dolphins are doing exactly what they want to do: control the clock, run this football. And it doesn't look like the 49ers have an answer as Balaj back into the backfield here. Strong formation here to the left. Reeves in the backfield calling out coverage, and Balaj is going to get this ball. He's going to go outside. And that is not his game. He is not a side-to-side runner. He has put his head down and pick up yards. So he's only going to get one there, going to bring up 2nd and 9. And we're at the point now where the 49ers have to get a 3-and-out right now and get the ball back.
Oh, sure. In a game like this, I think the Niners really miss Reuben Foster, a guy who plays sideline to sideline, and he's there in the run game. You really can't account for a guy that makes plays like that for your team, and Balaj is just having a day with him gone.
Wow. And Reeves steps in the backfield, cool under pressure, delivers a nice ball, picks up 20 yards, 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Balaj gets another run. A nice play here by the 49ers. They're going to hold him to no yards on that play. As the 49ers find themselves in a desperate situation, they got to find a way to get this ball on the turf and get a turnover here or intercept a pass here if the Dolphins step back and throw. But I think we're going to see 2 more runs here from the Dolphins. They're going to kick a field goal and go up 17.
Oh, sure. Right now we're in what I call good night territory, where the Dolphins are basically just going to run the ball and put points on the board and just seal the game.
As soon as you said it, I just hear Kevin Hart in my ear. As Fields breaking 3 tackles in the backfield, finally gets taken down. He's going to lose 4 yards here, but he's going to take another 30 seconds off of this clock. If he's smart, just to let this clock run down, hand the ball back off as Fields in the backfield. Balaj still on the sideline, and Reeves is going to step back and throw this ball, and he's got a wide open. And the ball is on the ground. Oh, my goodness. What a play here by the 49ers. All right, Addy. Somebody turn the light back on. It's not time to go night-night yet. The 49ers get the turnover they needed as they get the ball back at the 17, and now you got to find a way to get down the field pretty quickly here.
Oh, sure. I think that with 3 timeouts left, the Niners are still in this thing, man. Like you said, they just have to find a way to get
He's going to take a shot here. Oh, and Pettis had an opportunity to get that ball. But, Addy, this is where it's frustrating for everybody watching this, because he had the slant wide open. He's going to pick up 8-9 yards easy, and it's Tavon Austin. So he was going to run even farther after that. And he's just not looking for that underneath. He's trying to get the home run ball, as he's got Pettis way far out to the right. He's going to come across, and the 49ers protection breaks down again. This time Garoppolo not getting away. He luckily got that ball at the last second. Going to bring up a big 3rd and 10. And this is where the 49ers have struggled here, Addy, on 3rd down and long, have not found a way to pick up a lot of these for 1st downs. And he is in a desperate situation where this is actually 2-down territory here for the 49ers.
Oh, it has to be. I think the thing against a team with a really good pass rush that you can't do is get behind the numbers. And putting your team in 3rd and longs all day is a formula to find yourself losing.
Wow. Garoppolo finds this man, and the Dolphins just yank the ball out at the last second. Big 4th down here for the 49ers. This is a do-or-die play here for the 49ers. This is where you got to pick your greatest play, the play that has been your money play all year long, and run it right here. As Garoppolo in the shotgun, trips left. He's got George Kittle to the right. He's going to go play-action pass here. and he's going to take a shot. And that is a nice play by Mr. Pettis.
Great adjustment on the ball.
Great adjustment. You are right, Addy. Is that ball, if he does not make that adjustment, the secondary knocks that ball down, and now the 49ers have some life here as he gets a 1st and 10. Big pickup on 4th down. Dual halfback in the backfield. Hines split to his left. He's got Tavon Austin going on a streak route, and he's just going to dump this ball off. I like that. That's a nice little play. Get out of bounds. Shut the clock down. 2nd and 6. Go through your reads, and that's one thing Garoppolo has not done well at. He has not gone through his reads. He's kind of locked onto that first guy and just taking a shot.
I kind of think the pressure's been getting to him. You know what I mean? Where the times that he thought he had time to go through his read, a guy like Sharp comes off the edge or a blitzing linebacker gets up. There we go. And there's been pressure on him all night. And often as a QB, when the pressure's there, you get a little antsy in the pocket and you're rushing your throws.
And this is where tight work in this Dolphins live. It's his 2 bookends, Gash and Sharp, going after the quarterback, and they're getting there. Sharp gets away again. Oh, and he had a chance. He's going to take a shot down here. This is Tavon Austin.
And it's picked
This is not Pettis. This is not Adam Thielen. This is 5'8", 5'9", Tavon, the speedster Austin, and that's an easy turnover for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and it stinks because I think that really is the story of the game there. You get pressure with your ends, and you have great coverage in the back half with your defense, and there's nothing open.
And it looks like the Lombardi Trophy is coming back to the AFC after Addy 5 has dominated it over there in the NFC. And Addy, I'd like to say that you lost to the Super Bowl champ, but you didn't. You lost to the runner-up here. And while we got a couple minutes here, do we see the Saints back in this game where they belong next year? And don't be the humble Addy 5. I need Goon Addy 5 to come out as Balaj gets another carry. He's going to pick up a 1st down as the 49ers are trying to strip this ball out.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's always my goal to win. That's always what I aim at. And granted, there's great competitors in the NFC, and I respect all of them. However, I do expect to be back 2-1. Now, who knows when? There's some revamping that I need to do in order to get the team to where I want it to be. But definitely, I see a Super Bowl in the future. Who knows when, but I plan on getting back.
Yeah, you definitely got some tough competition over there in the NFC. Of course, Sweetz99 is not here by accident. Sweets is a very good user. He just came up against a great game plan here by tight work in the Dolphins, who have done a tremendous job just shutting this run game down completely with Hines in this backfield and making the 49ers kind of one-dimensional and just kind of playing his coverage and letting those 2 bookends go after Garoppolo as he's going to drop this ball off to Balaj, and Balaj makes a nice little cut to the inside. And Balaj in a foot race, a little spin move, run over another guy. Huge play here by Balaj. Balaj just kind of put a stamp on his MVP here for the Super Bowl. Get that man a new vehicle. He's going to Disneyland as the Dolphins are going to walk away with a huge win here in the Super Bowl and hang his 3rd banner here in Dynasty history. And you got some tough competition. We talked about Sweets here with the 49ers. But who's that next up-and-coming guy that you look at and say, okay, we got to kind of keep our eye on him? You know, we got guys like Matty Ice, who had an off year this year. Had some injuries go against his way, had a couple games come down to the end that were just kind of crazy finishes. Some bad things happened to him. But who's that guy in the NFC that you look at and say, okay, he's starting to make some strides. We got to kind of watch out for him?
I think this is a tough question because starting to make strides, I guess that would eliminate the guys that are already essentially at the top. In my opinion, the Eagles and the Bears, who win their division often. Yep. I guess those guys wouldn't really be considered in a question like this.
KP and Matty Ice are completely off limits.
I think for me, I would have to say Westside Pablo, man.
Oh, I was hoping you were going there.
And when you look at a team like the Giants with explosive receivers on the outside with OBJ and Banham, then you have Saquon and Ingram. He has a dearth of options on his offense. I think this year we saw it where he was finally able to get into the playoffs, and maybe he could use that and build on it.
As Balaj opens up, the Red Sea is parted, and he's going to get another touchdown. It's okay, Balaj. You've already won the Super Bowl MVP. Go ahead and go over there and take them shoulder pads off. You are done for the day, as he's going to put the Dolphins up 21 points with a 31-10 lead here, as the Dolphins are going to kick this extra point. And the confetti's about to drop. They got to get the stage built. You've been in this situation before. When you win a Super Bowl, and both of you and I have been in that situation, how long can you celebrate that Super Bowl, especially here in the dynasty, knowing that the next season's going to start in a matter of days?
For me, I think it all depends on some guys were blessed enough to win more than one. And I think when it's your first, you kind of give yourself more time to bask in that and to let it all just sink in. You know what I mean? We all know the hard work and the grind that it goes into, just even get into one of these games.
Yeah.
Not even win one, but to get here. So, it's a countless grind, and to get your first, it's a feeling like none other. But a guy like Tight Work, I think that he's accustomed to winning. Although if you hear him say it, he'll say he's not too good at the game. He's proved different here. And it's a guy who's won multiple times in the past. And right here, he's hanging his third banner. So a guy like this, I could see really just turning back and getting right back to business.
Yeah, and when you win your third one, it's a little bit different than when you win your first one. I know we celebrate our banner for several days. I mean, I don't even remember free agency after I won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man.
I really didn't care about who was in free agency. The draft didn't make any difference to me.
Same.
We were just like, okay, we finally won one. We got that monkey off our back. No one can say anything to us again about hanging a banner. We're in the Super Bowl chat room. We're official. But that's going to do it for the game. Don't go anywhere. We'll have a little post-game press conference here with Addy and myself as we talk about this game here against the Dolphins and the 49'ers, as you see the confetti dropping here.
Man.
As the score is 31-10.
Yeah.
Dolphins over the 49'ers. And these are two guys that are best friends outside the game. And so they're gonna talk about this Super Bowl. He won't hold it over Sweetz99's head, but he'll remind him every 2 or 3 days that he got beat in the Super Bowl, because that's what friends do. As the Dolphins just dominated this football game, once they started to get a couple turnovers here, Addy, and turnovers was the difference in this football game, as Garoppolo just could never get that momentum going, and Tight Work took advantage of it. Do you think that first interception where he kind of sailed that ball, that was kind of the beginning of the end here for the 49'ers, as Garoppolo had probably his worst game of the year?
Yeah, I think that pass where he sailed the ball, I think it had an effect on him. However, I think the fumble, the fumble really did it. In a game where coming in, we talked about Garoppolo being the veteran. He kind of looked like the rookie in this matchup, and Reeves looked really poised, and he was able to execute the game plan and bring his team a W.
Yeah, and let's talk about Balaj for a second. This is the guy that's the backup running back to Drake the whole year. Drake goes down, and Balaj has to kind of carry this team through the playoffs here for the Dolphins, and he comes out and just completely dominates the rushing attack here for the Miami Dolphins. Talk about how big of an impact Balaj had on this game here.
Oh, I think he had, outside of the Dolphins' defense, the hugest impact. When you give a guy 22 carries for 144 yards and a score, that's complete domination of the game. When you look at his average yards per carry, he had 6 yards a pop. And whenever you're getting 6 yards a carry, two carries, and that's the first down. That's always the formula for success.
Yeah, and Balaj is going to be awarded the Super Bowl MVP. I think that's going to be a unanimous vote. But you talked a little bit about this Dolphins defense, and we talked about it on the pregame show, how Tight Work kind of relies on this defense to put him in situations to make him successful. And that's exactly what his defense did today. Those two bookends were in Garoppolo's face the entire night. And Garoppolo would have been sacked probably 7 or 8 times, but he got away from 3 big sacks there in the game and kind of made something out of nothing. But this defense and how he plays, how much confidence does that give you on offense when you know that your defense is going to put you in spots to put points on the board, especially the way that this defense does?
I think it's huge, and it takes all the pressure off. And when, as an offense, you know you're either getting a short field, or you know that even if you go 3 and out, you got a defense on the other side of the ball that isn't going to give up points. Playing without pressure is a feeling like none other.
Yeah, and let's just talk about Gilbert Reeves. This is a guy that's he's not going to wow you. With his arm, he's not going to stand back there and throw 40 times. He was 8 of 11 today, 72% completion, 1 touchdown, 132 yards. He had 142.9 QB rating. But here's the big stat. How big is it when you look in that interception column and there's a 0 next to your name as a QB?
I think that's huge because, as we said before, you can't lose yourself again. As a quarterback, the one thing you want to do is always put your team or allow your team to be in positions that are manageable. And when you turn the ball over like Garoppolo did, where you have 4 picks and a fumble, you're really putting your team in the hole. And for a guy like Reeves, who was the number 1 pick in the draft, the Dolphins with the number 1 pick select Reeves because they saw a guy that fit their system. They saw a guy that they thought could allow them to build for the future. And in his rookie year, he takes them to the Super Bowl and allows them to finally, hang a banner in Madden 19.
Yeah, and so the Dolphins end up with 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. And so you can't really give the MVP to the entire defense, although that would be pretty cool. But the Dolphins come away with a win, 31-10 over the 49'ers. Appreciate Addy5. Appreciate you jumping on, calling the Super Bowl with me, man.
Oh, no problem, man. We're brothers, and
yeah,
I appreciate you even outside of this game. But it was great hopping on the show and getting to talk the Super Bowl. Now, hopefully, I'm never back. Not because you're not a great guy, because hopefully I'm playing in these games.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? Yeah, shout out to the homie KP jumping on the pregame show, and of course our producer Nasty Noop and everything that he does for us behind the scenes. But this is going to do for the DML Network. Dolphins win Super Bowl in the DML 31-10 over the 49'ers. It's your boy Expert, and I'm out.